small village, a farmer tied his young elephant to a wooden post with a thin chain. Every day, the elephant tried to break free, but it couldn't. Years passed, and the elephant grew huge and powerful. Yet the farmer still used the same tiny chain. A traveler passing by asked, "Why doesn't the elephant break free? It's strong enough to crush that chain." The farmer smiled and said, "It doesn't try anymore. It believes it can't." That night, the traveler couldn't stop thinking. He realized we're all like that elephant sometimes. We stay chained to old habits, fears, and limits that we could break any time if we only tried again. Moral of the story: you can't grow while chained to old habits. The moment you decide to break them, freedom begins. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once, in a quiet village, a shepherd boy was given the responsibility of watching over a flock of sheep. Every day, he would take them up the hill to graze, and his job was simple: protect them from wolves. But the boy soon grew bored. To amuse himself, he shouted loudly, "Wolf! Wolf! A wolf is attacking the sheep!" Hearing his cry, the villagers ran up the hill to help. But when they arrived, they found no wolf, only the boy laughing at their panic. The villagers were angry but went back home. A few days later, the boy repeated the trick. Again, he cried out, "Wolf! Wolf!" The villagers rushed up the hill once more, only to find the boy laughing again. This time they warned him, "If you lie, no one will believe you when you truly need help." But the boy didn't listen. One evening, as the sun was setting, a real wolf crept out of the forest. It attacked the flock of sheep. Terrified, the boy cried out with all his strength, "Wolf! Wolf! Please help me!" But this time, the villagers ignored his cries. They thought he was playing another trick. The wolf scattered the flock and carried away many sheep. The boy sat alone, weeping bitterly. He realized too late that by lying, he had destroyed the trust of the people. Moral of the story: honesty builds trust. Once broken, it's hard to repair. Lies may give short-term fun, but truth builds long-term respect. Trust is like glass, precious and fragile. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, a clever monkey lived on a big tree by the river. The tree bore sweet, juicy fruits, and the monkey enjoyed them every day. One day, a crocodile came out of the river. Tired and hungry, the kind-hearted monkey offered him some fruits. The crocodile loved the taste and soon began visiting daily. They became friends. One afternoon, the crocodile carried some fruits home for his wife. But instead of being grateful, she grew greedy. She said, "If the fruits taste so sweet, imagine how delicious the monkey's heart must be. Bring me his heart to eat." The crocodile was troubled, but he loved his wife and decided to trick the monkey. He invited the monkey to his home across the river, saying, "Come meet my wife. She wants to thank you for the fruits." Trusting his friend, The monkey climbed onto the crocodile's back, but in the middle of the river, the crocodile revealed the truth. "My wife wants to eat your heart. That's why I'm taking you home." The monkey was shocked, but instead of panicking, he stayed calm and used his cleverness. He said, "Oh, dear friend, why didn't you tell me earlier? I always keep my heart on the tree. If you had told me, I would have brought it with me. Let's go back so I can fetch it for your wife." The foolish crocodile believed him and quickly swam back to the riverbank. As soon as they reached the tree, the monkey leapt to safety, climbing high onto the branches. He looked down and said, "Friend, you betrayed my trust. You may have power, but cleverness will always win over strength." The crocodile realized his mistake and swam away in shame. Moral of the story: wisdom and cleverness can overcome strength. Stay calm in danger. Your mind is your greatest weapon. Never betray trust. Greed destroys relationships. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a quiet classroom, an old teacher began his lesson by drawing a single white line on the blackboard. The students watched silently, wondering what he was doing. Day after day, he added a few more lines, sometimes a few words, sometimes a small diagram. Slowly, over weeks, the once empty board became filled with lessons beautiful, complete, and full of meaning. One curious student finally asked, "Sir, why don't you just write everything in one day?" The teacher smiled and said, "My child, this chalk may seem small and weak, but when used every day with purpose, it can fill the entire board. That's how life works. 2 little efforts every day build great results over time." The students looked at the board again and realized the deeper lesson progress doesn't come from one big push, but from small, consistent actions. No matter how small the chalk, it can write big lessons. No matter how small your steps, they can create a great story. Moral of the story: success is not about doing it all at once. It's about showing up every day and making small progress. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, a wise farmer always planted the best quality seeds in his field. One day, his neighbor noticed that the farmer even gave some of his best seeds to the other farmers around him. Surprised, the neighbor asked, "Why are you sharing your best seeds with others? Don't you want the best harvest for yourself?" The farmer smiled and said, "The wind carries pollen from field to field. If my neighbors grow poor crops, cross-pollination will affect my own harvest. But if they grow good crops, my field will also yield the best. So, to have good harvests, I must help them grow good crops too." The neighbor stood amazed at the farmer's wisdom. Moral of the story: what you plant in others is what grows in you. When you help others succeed, you succeed too. Life gives back what you give out, whether kindness, love, or hate. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, a young scholar traveled across mountains to meet a famous Zen master. He was proud he had read hundreds of books, debated many teachers, and believed he knew everything about wisdom. When he arrived, he bowed slightly and began to boast. "Master, I've studied the scriptures, philosophy, and science. I've come to learn the final secrets of enlightenment." The old master smiled gently and said, "Let's have some tea first." He poured tea into the young man's cup slowly, then steadily, until it overflowed. The hot tea spilled onto the table, yet the master kept pouring. The scholar jumped up. "Stop! It's full! It can't take any more!" The master calmly replied, "Just like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and pride. If you wish to learn, you must first empty your cup." The scholar fell silent. In that moment, he understood true learning begins not with knowledge, but with humility. From that day forward, he started to listen more, speak less, and grow wiser every day, one drop of humility at a time. Moral of the story: an empty cup can be filled, but a full cup overflows and wastes wisdom. Humility is the beginning of real growth. The wiser we become, the more we realize how much we don't know. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. One day, a farmer's donkey fell into a deep well. The animal cried for hours as the farmer tried to figure out what to do. Finally, the farmer decided the donkey was too old, and the well needed to be covered anyway. He invited his neighbors to help. They all grabbed shovels and began throwing dirt into the well. At first, the donkey cried horribly, but after a while, he quieted down. When the farmer looked inside, he was amazed. With every shovel of dirt that fell on his back, the donkey shook it off and stepped up. Shovel after shovel, he kept shaking off the dirt and climbing higher. Finally, to everyone's amazement, the donkey stepped up over the edge of the well and walked away free. Moral of the story: life will throw dirt at you, challenges, pain, and failures. The trick is to shake it off and step up. Every obstacle can become a stepping stone if you don't give up. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time in a village, a rat lived inside a farmer's house. Nearby, in a small anthill, lived a colony of ants. The rat often laughed at the ants, saying, "You tiny creatures work so hard every day, carrying food grain by grain. Look at me, I'm clever. I just sneak into the farmer's kitchen and eat whatever I want without effort." The ants stayed silent and kept working. One day, the farmer brought a trap to catch the rat. The rat, hungry and careless, went straight for the food inside. Snap! The trap caught him. He struggled but could not escape. The ants saw him suffering. Together, hundreds of ants came and chewed the rope of the trap until it broke. The rat was free. Ashamed, the rat said, "I used to laugh at you, but today your teamwork and persistence saved my life." The ants replied, "Never laugh at hard work. Small steps, done consistently, achieve big results." Moral: never underestimate small efforts. Teamwork and persistence can achieve what looks impossible. Pride falls, but hard work and unity always win. Once, there was a boy with a bad temper. His father gave him a bag of nails and said, "Every time you lose your temper, hammer a nail into the fence." On the first day, the boy hammered 30 nails into the fence. Over time, he learned to control himself, and the number of nails grew fewer each day. Finally, a day came when the boy didn't lose his temper at all. His father smiled and said, "Good! Now, for every day you control your anger, pull one nail out." Days passed, and at last all the nails were removed. The father then took his son to the fence and said, "You did well, my son, but look at the holes in the wood. The fence will never be the same." When you say things in anger, they leave scars just like these. Even if you say, "I'm sorry," the wounds remain. The boy understood deeply. Controlling anger protects hearts from scars. Moral of the story: words said in anger leave permanent marks. Control your temper, forgiveness may heal, but scars remain. True strength lies in patience and calmness. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a peaceful garden, there stood a tall tree, strong, green, and proud. Every day, children played under its shade. But one little boy had a habit. Whenever he got angry, he would hit the tree with a hammer and nails. Day after day, the boy grew up, and the tree became full of scars, deep marks where the nails had been. Years passed. The boy became a man, wiser and calmer. One day, he came back to the garden, carrying tears in his eyes. He gently touched the tree and said, "I'm sorry for all the pain I caused you." He began to pull out the nails one by one, but even after he removed them all, the marks remained. The tree whispered in the wind, "My dear child, I forgave you long ago. But remember, the scars never go away." The man stood silently, realizing something powerful. Just like the tree, our wounds don't define us, but they shape who we become. Every scar tells a story, not of pain, but of healing, strength, and growth. Moral of the story: scars are proof that you survived. Pain shapes your strength. Struggle builds your soul. Healing doesn't erase the past, it transforms it. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets. and share.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
A young man named Arhan stood at the edge of an unfinished wooden bridge. On the other side of the canyon lay everything he dreamed of: opportunities, success, and a life he always wanted. But the bridge was broken halfway, unstable, shaken by wind and time. Most people came, tried stepping forward, got scared, and returned home saying, "The bridge is impossible to cross." Arhan too felt the fear. His legs trembled, heart raced, doubts whispered, "What if I fall? What if I fail?" But deep inside, a voice said otherwise. "What if you succeed?" So Arhan decided not to turn back. He picked up fallen logs, tied them with rope, and slowly began strengthening the bridge step by step, day by day. People laughed at him. "Why waste time? Nobody has ever crossed." "Give up. It's too difficult." Arhan ignored the noise. He worked through storms, loneliness, pain, and setbacks. Sometimes the wind broke what he built, but he rebuilt again, stronger. Weeks turned into months. Finally, the bridge stood complete, not perfect, but strong enough. With courage in his chest, he stepped forward. One step, then another, and then one more. He reached the other side. The world celebrated him, calling him genius, lucky, blessed. But no one knew the truth. He didn't find success by crossing the bridge. He found it by building it. Moral of the story: great things don't come to those who wait. They come to those who build. Success is not a path you find. It's a bridge you construct. Every setback is not the end. It's just wood for your next step. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
A small coastal village lived a humble fisherman named Aaron. Every morning, before sunrise, he pushed his little wooden boat into the vast ocean. Some days he returned with a basket full of fish, and some days only a handful. Yet, he smiled always. His neighbors often asked, "How do you stay so calm when the sea rarely rewards you?" Aaron gently answered, "The ocean gives when it chooses. My job is to keep rowing." Years passed. Storms destroyed boats. Skilled fishermen quit. But Aaron never stopped. He repaired his nets, prayed to the wind, and returned every day with hope as deep as the sea. One stormy season, while others stayed home in fear, Aaron gathered his courage and set sail. For 2 days, the ocean was silent. On the 3rd day, his net caught something heavy. As he pulled it up, the sun lit the sparkling silver, an enormous catch. More fish than he had ever seen in his life. That catch fed the entire village. Traders offered him wealth, fame, and boats with engines, but Aaron simply smiled and said, "Not luck, patience." The villagers finally realized what they had never understood. The ocean doesn't reward the quickest nor the strongest. It rewards the one who waits, who tries again, who doesn't give up. Karen's legacy became a lesson to the world. Moral of the story: success is like the sea. You reach it not in a single wave, but with countless strokes of patience. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, a giant mountain stood tall, proud, and unshakable. At its base lay a tiny pebble who admired the mountain's greatness. One morning, the pebble looked up and said, "Oh, mighty mountain, I wish I could be as great as you." The mountain chuckled. "You are too small to make a difference, little one." The pebble felt sad but didn't give up. Each day, it rolled a little, shifted a bit, and over time, joined other pebbles, sand, and soil. One rainy season, the small pebbles and soil began to slide together, forming a stream that slowly started to erode the side of the mountain. Years later, the great mountain looked down in surprise. Its shape had changed, not by force, but by the persistence of the smallest things. The pebble whispered, "Even small efforts, when consistent, can move giants." Moral of the story: don't underestimate small steps, they build great change. Tiny efforts, when consistent, can move mountains. Power isn't in size, but in persistence. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Late at night, Karen was working on his laptop when his phone buzzed ping. He glanced at the screen, a message that annoyed him. A harsh comment from a coworker in the office group chat. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to reply. His heart raced, his mind filled with sharp comebacks. But then, before typing, he noticed something. The phone went silent. The notification light stopped blinking. For a moment, Karan just stared at the quiet phone. He took a deep breath and whispered to himself, "Not every notification deserves an answer." He turned off his phone, finished his work, and went to sleep peacefully. The next morning, when he met the same coworker, they smiled as if nothing had happened. Karan realized something powerful: silence sometimes speaks louder than reaction. That night taught him an unforgettable lesson. When you stop reacting to every little disturbance, life becomes calmer, lighter, and more focused. Moral of the story: not every message, insult, or situation deserves your energy. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Long ago in a mountain village, a young warrior trained under a wise old master. He was fast, fearless, and undefeated, yet his heart was filled with pride. One day, he declared, "Master, I've conquered every opponent in the region. There is no one left to defeat." The master smiled calmly and said, "Then it's time for you to face your greatest enemy." The young man frowned. "Who is that, master? Tell me, and I will destroy him." The master led him to a clear pond and said, "Look into the water." When the warrior saw his reflection, he understood. The enemy was not outside, it was within him. His ego, anger, and fear.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel, for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
In a small riverside village lived a boy named Bravo, whose greatest joy was building paper boats. Every morning, he folded sheets of paper with care, placed them gently on the flowing river, and watched them drift away. While others laughed at his hobby, calling it childish, Bravo believed each boat carried a dream, a whisper of hope, a promise to someday sail beyond the horizon. One day, his father asked, "Why spend time on something that disappears in minutes?" Bravo smiled and replied, "Even if the boat doesn't last, the dream it carries does." Years passed. Bravo grew up, and life became harder. His family struggled financially. His dream of studying engineering seemed impossible. People mocked his ambitions just like they mocked his boats. But Bravo remembered his own words. He worked during the day, studied at night, and applied for scholarships. He failed many times, but like his paper boats, he sent his applications forward again and again. Finally, one acceptance letter arrived. Then another. Soon, Bravo earned a scholarship to a top university. He became an engineer known for designing eco-friendly watercrafts and river cleaning systems. At the inauguration of his first major project, he stood beside the river where it all began. With a gentle smile, he placed a white paper boat in the water once more. This time, the village didn't laugh. They clapped, because now they understood. Moral of the story: dreams may look fragile like paper, but if you believe and keep pushing forward, they can sail farther than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a small town, a rich man had a beautiful mirror. One day, it slipped and shattered into many pieces. He thought it was useless and left it in the trash. A poor artist collected the broken pieces. Instead of seeing waste, he saw possibility. He arranged the fragments into a stunning mosaic that reflected light in 1,000 colors. When people saw it, they said, "This is more beautiful than the original mirror." Moral of the story: what looks broken can be turned into something greater. Challenges, failures, and scars can become masterpieces. True strength lies not in perfection, but in transformation. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel, for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
In a small town by the riverside lived an old balloon seller named Rahim. Every evening he walked through the market, holding dozens of colorful balloons, red, blue, yellow, pink, green, like pieces of hope floating in the air. Children loved him. Yet, he was poor, earning only enough for a simple meal each day. One afternoon, a little boy named Arun stood beside him and asked, "Uncle, if you release a balloon, will it keep flying?" Rahim nodded and let a red balloon go. It soared into the sky. Arun clapped his hands, amazed, but then he asked softly, "What if it was black? Would it still go up?" Rahim gently placed his hand on the boy's head and said words that stayed forever. Son, it's not the color of the balloon that matters. Now it is what's inside that makes it rise. Aaron smiled, understanding something powerful. That day, many children gathered around Rahim. Not for balloons, but for wisdom. He spoke to them. Don't judge yourself by where you come from, what you have, or what others think. Your dreams will rise if your heart has courage, kindness, and effort. Rahim sold all his balloons that day, but what he gave was far greater faith. Years passed, and those children grew into strong, confident adults. Whenever life pushed them down, they remembered the balloon seller's words. And just like balloons soaring high, they rose not because of their color, but because of what was inside. Moral of the story: don't judge yourself by where you come from, what you have, or what others think. Your dreams will rise if your heart has courage, kindness, and effort. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. One afternoon, a young boy found a plastic bottle lying on the ground. Curious, he picked it up and showed it to his father. His father smiled and said, "Let's see what this bottle is worth." They took it to a recycling shop. The owner offered $5 for it. Then they went to a sports stadium. Someone there offered $20, saying he could use it as a water bottle for practice. Finally, they went to a tourist spot. A vendor offered $100, saying he could fill it with colored sand and sell it as a souvenir. The boy was amazed. "But it's the same bottle, Papa." His father smiled. "Exactly, son. The bottle's value didn't change, only the place did. People don't always see your worth. Just because one person undervalues you doesn't mean you're worthless. You just haven't found the right place yet." From that day, the boy learned never to measure his worth by someone else's opinion. Moral of the story: your worth doesn't depend on where you are or who values you. True worth is constant, even when others don't see it. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, in a dense forest, there lived a proud hare who always bragged about his speed. He would mock the slow-moving tortoise, laughing at how long it took him to go anywhere. Tired of the teasing, the tortoise calmly said one day, "Let's have a race, and we'll see who wins." The hare burst out laughing, but he agreed, thinking it would be an easy victory. The forest animals gathered to watch. As soon as the race began, the hare zoomed ahead and quickly disappeared from sight. Halfway through, confident that the tortoise would never catch up, the hare decided to take a nap under a shady tree. Meanwhile, the tortoise kept moving slow but steady, step by step, without stopping. When the hare finally woke up, the sun was setting. He dashed toward the finish line, only to find the tortoise already there, smiling calmly. The hare couldn't believe it. The tortoise simply said, "Slow and steady wins the race." Moral of the story: consistency, patience, and persistence are more powerful than speed and arrogance. Success isn't about rushing, it's about never giving up. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. A young runner tripped in every race he entered. People laughed, rivals mocked, and even his coach doubted him. but he kept showing up every single day. Rain, pain, and failure couldn't stop him. One day, he sprinted past the finish line first, proving that the only runner who wins is the one who never quits. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. One sunny morning on a quiet seashore, a fisherman sat beside his small boat, humming a tune and enjoying the waves. A wealthy businessman walking by stopped and asked, "Is greater than, why aren't you out fishing? You could catch more fish and earn more money." The fisherman smiled, "Is greater than, I already caught enough fish for today." The businessman frowned. "How is greater than, if you worked harder, you could buy a bigger boat, catch even more fish, and one day own your own fleet. Then you'd be rich." The fisherman asked gently, "Is greater than, and after that?" The businessman said, "Is greater than, then you can relax, enjoy life, and spend time with your family." The fisherman chuckled softly and replied, "Is greater than, that's exactly what I'm doing right now." The businessman stood silent, realizing the fisherman already had what he was chasing. Moral of the story: true happiness isn't found in wealth. It's found in simplicity and gratitude. The joy of life lies in being present, peaceful, and content. You don't need more to live better, just less that matters more. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, a poor fisherman cast his net into the sea. When he pulled it out, he found just one small fish wriggling inside. The fish begged, "Please let me go. I'm too small. If you free me today, I'll grow bigger, and you can catch me later." The fisherman smiled and shook his head. He said, "No, little one. A small fish in hand is better than the big promise of tomorrow." He kept the fish and walked home happily. But another fisherman, greedy for more, threw back a small catch, hoping for something bigger. Days passed, but he caught nothing. In the end, he went home empty-handed, while his family starved. Moral of the story: greed makes you lose everything. Value what you have today, instead of chasing uncertain promises. Contentment brings peace, while greed destroys. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Long ago in China, there was a kind emperor who had no children. He needed to choose a successor. Instead of picking a noble or warrior, he decided to test the children of the kingdom. He called them to the palace and said, "I will give each of you a seed. Plant it, take care of it, and return in 1 year with your plant. The one who grows the finest plant will be the next emperor." Among the children was a boy named Ping, who loved gardening. He went home, planted the seed in a pot, and watered it carefully every day. Weeks passed, then months, but nothing grew. Ping tried new soil, more sunlight, and more water. But still his pot remained empty. He watched other children with tall, colorful plants and felt ashamed. But he refused to give up. Finally, the year ended. The children returned to the palace carrying pots of flowers, trees, and vines. Ping had only his empty pot. His heart pounded as he walked forward, afraid of being mocked. The emperor inspected every pot. Then he stopped at Ping's empty pot and announced loudly, "Behold, this boy shall be my successor." The hall erupted in shock. The emperor explained, "A year ago, I gave each child boiled seeds that could never grow. All these plants were grown from different seeds. Only this boy was honest enough to bring me the truth. Honesty is the greatest virtue, and he alone is worthy to be emperor." Ping's eyes filled with tears, but his honesty had made him the chosen one. Moral of the story: honesty is the foundation of true greatness. Courage to tell the truth is more valuable than success built on lies. Integrity shines brighter than appearances. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, a mighty river flowed down from the mountains, swift and strong. One day, it met a huge rock blocking its path. The river tried to push past it, but failed. It roared, splashed, and crashed against the rock, yet the rock stood firm. Frustrated, the river cried out, "You are too strong! I can never pass you." The rock replied calmly, "Then stop trying. Flow somewhere else." But the river whispered, "No, I will keep flowing, drop by drop, day by day." Years passed. The rock began to wear down, its sharp edges softened by the river's patience. One day, the rock looked down and realized the river had carved a beautiful path through it. The river smiled and said, "Strength doesn't always win, persistence does." Moral of the story: obstacles cannot stop those who keep going. True power is not force, but consistent persistence. Small, steady efforts shape even the hardest destiny. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
Amidst the vibrant chaos of the circus, a man observes a massive elephant swaying listlessly. The colossal beast is bound by a slender rope, its spirit seemingly as fragile as its tether. The man approaches the weathered trainer, his curiosity burning. Why doesn't it just break the rope? It's easily strong enough. The trainer's eyes reflect a lifetime of resignation. It doesn't try anymore. The man observes the adult elephant, a newfound understanding dawning in his eyes. A sudden loud noise pierces the air, startling the elephant. For a fleeting moment, a flicker of awareness crosses the elephant's eyes, its gaze fixed on the rope. The elephant tests the rope with slow, deliberate movements. With a surge of determination, the elephant pulls, and the rope snaps. The elephant hesitates, then walks away, disappearing into the distance.
A farmer plants a bamboo seed. He waters it every single day. 1 year passes. Nothing. 2 years pass. Still nothing. 3 years. 4 years. 5 years. Still nothing grows above the soil. Most people give up. But the farmer keeps watering. Then suddenly, in the 6th year, the bamboo tree shoots up 80 feet tall in just 6 weeks. Moral of the story: success doesn't always show immediately. Just because you can't see the results doesn't mean your efforts are wasted. Your hard work is building roots deep inside, preparing you for explosive growth. Keep going, your breakthrough will come. for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a small African village, there stood a giant drum at the center of the square. It wasn't owned by anyone, it belonged to everyone. Whenever joy filled the air during births, harvests, or celebrations, the drum would echo through the hills. And whenever sorrow came, its deep rhythm united hearts in comfort. One day, a young boy named Cato wanted to make his own music. He was tired of sharing the big drum and wanted all the attention. So he built a smaller drum and began to play alone at the edge of the village. At first, his beats were strong and confident, but soon he realized his rhythm lacked harmony. His sound, though loud, felt empty. The elders watched quietly until one day, the chief invited him back to play with the community. As the drum circle began, the beats merged the low thump of the elders, the quick rhythm of the youth, there's the soft taps of the children together, forming one heartbeat that filled the valley. Cato smiled as he felt the rhythm flow again. He finally understood. One drum makes noise, but many drums make music. From that day on, he played not to be heard alone, but to make the village sing together. Moral of the story: true strength comes from unity. When individuals work together with one purpose, they create harmony that no single person can achieve alone. Unity turns sound into a symphony. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. A boy delivers newspapers at dawn, running through misty streets. The sound of his footsteps echoes as he dreams of becoming a writer. He writes at night under a single flickering bulb, rejection letters piling high. His family mocks, friends laugh. One rainy night, he burns his last draft in anger. But then, camera zooms on a small line he saves from the fire. Don't quit. Years later, cut to a stage, lights blazing. His name echoes as a best-selling author. The same boy, once mocked, now inspires millions. Two men, both seriously ill, shared the same hospital room. One man's bed was next to the window, while the other had to lie flat on his back. Every afternoon, the man by the window would sit up for an hour and describe to his roommate what he saw outside. He spoke of a peaceful park, green trees swaying, children playing, lovers walking hand in hand, and a bright lake reflecting the sunset. The man lying down would close his eyes and imagine it all, feeling his heart lifted with every word. Days turned into weeks, and one morning the nurse came to clean the room. The man by the window had peacefully passed away during the night. After a while, the other man asked to be moved near the window. When he finally turned to look outside, he was shocked there was nothing there but a blank wall. He called the nurse in confusion, and she said softly, "He was blind. He couldn't see anything. He just wanted to make your world brighter." Tears filled the man's eyes. He realized that gratitude and kindness don't depend on what we have, but what we give. Moral of the story: gratitude changes what we see. Even a wall can become a view when your heart is thankful. Happiness grows when shared. The kindest people often give light, even when they live in darkness. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. flickers in the middle of a violent storm, almost going out. Darkness surrounds it. Close up, it fights, trembles, yet glows on. Suddenly the storm passes, and that single flame lights dozens of other candles around it. The room fills with brightness, message. Even the smallest light can end the darkest night. A poor girl paints on scraps of cardboard while rain leaks through the roof. Neighbors mock her. Cut to years later. An art gallery. Her painting hangs under bright lights. People whispering in awesome narrator. What the world laughed at in silence. One day, the world applauded in awesome. Once upon a time, a poor farmer owned a goose. Every morning, the goose laid a shiny golden egg. The farmer sold it in the market and slowly grew rich. But greed took over. He thought, if I cut open the goose, I can get all the gold at once. So, in his impatience, the farmer killed the goose, but inside he found nothing. Now he had lost the goose and the golden eggs. Moral of the story: greed destroys success. Be patient and value what you have. True growth comes from consistency, not shortcuts. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. A sailor was caught in a deadly storm at night. Waves smashing, wind screaming, zero visibility. His compass failed, radio went silent, and a thick fog wrapped the sea like a trap. Just when fear whispered, "You're finished," he spotted a faint glow, a lighthouse barely piercing the fog. But as he sailed toward it, the light vanished. For a moment, he froze. Then he remembered his captain's words. When the fog hides the light, steer with the light inside you. He trusted his instincts, pushed forward, and the lighthouse reappeared, guiding him safely to shore. The moral of the story: when life blinds you, trust your inner light. It never goes out. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. An old father had 3 quarrelsome sons. They always fought and refused to work together. One day, the father gave each son a stick and asked them to break it. Each son snapped his stick easily. Then, the father tied all the sticks into a bundle and asked them to break it. No matter how hard they tried, none of the sons could break the bundle. The father smiled and said, "Alone, you are weak, but together, you are unbreakable." The sons finally understood. Unity brings strength and success. Moral of the story: unity gives power, protection, and success. Divided we fall, but together we stand strong. Families, teams, and communities thrive through cooperation. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. A young man set out on a river in a small wooden boat. But unlike everyone else drifting effortlessly with the current, he turned his boat against it. People on the shore shouted, "You'll never make it! Turn back!" But he rowed harder. The waves got stronger. His arms burned, his boat shook. Just when it seemed impossible, he reached a calm, hidden lake that no one else had ever seen. He smiled and whispered, "The world only sees the struggle, but only the brave see where the struggle leads." The moral of the story: when you go against the current, you reach places the crowd never will. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a quiet village, surrounded by golden fields, lived an old farmer named Hari. Every year, he planted his crops with patience, but this year, a long drought had dried the land. Cracks spread across the soil like wounds, and the villagers stopped believing the rains would ever return. Most farmers gave up. They stored their seeds, waiting for better times. But not Hari. One morning, before the sun rose, Harry walked to his barren field with a single bag of seeds. His neighbors laughed. "Why waste seeds?" they asked. "There is no rain. Nothing will grow." Hari simply smiled. "My job is to plant. God's job is to grow." He pushed his fingers into the dry soil and planted each seed with care. Days passed. Still no rain. The villagers pitied him. But Hari did not lose faith. Every morning he visited the field, not to check for sprouts, but to pray over the soil. Every night he looked at the sky with hope, not disappointment. Then, one evening, when everyone had forgotten the fields, dark clouds gathered. A gentle breeze brushed the land. Thunder rolled across the horizon, and for the first time in months, rain poured down like a blessing. The next morning, the villagers woke up to something unbelievable. Hari's field, once dry and lifeless, was covered in tiny green shoots, glowing under the morning light. And within weeks, his farm grew into the healthiest crop the village had seen in years. People rushed to him, asking, "How did your seeds survive the drought?" Hari smiled softly. "Seeds respond not just to water, but to faith." The moral of the story: faith doesn't eliminate the drought, but it prepares you for the rain. When others stop trying, keep going. The seed you plant today with faith becomes the harvest that inspires others tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Scene: a girl sits on a hospital bed, looking at her paralyzed legs. Doctors say she'll never walk again. The lights dim. Music fades. Cut to her bedroom mirror. She grips her wheelchair, stares at her reflection. Montage begins falling, trying, crying, failing again and again. Then one day, slow motion. She takes a shaky step with crutches. The crowd in a marathon cheers as she crosses the finish line years later. Her smile says it all. Impossible is just an opinion.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel, for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
There was once a young man named Aaron who lived in a quiet valley. Every morning, he sat by the river of time, a river believed to show people reflections of their past, present, and future. But Aaron never saw anything, only flowing water. Frustrated, he asked an old sage, "Why doesn't the river show me anything?" The sage smiled and replied, "Because you are waiting for the river to give you answers instead of moving with it." Confused but curious, Aaron began helping villagers teaching children, carrying water for elders, planting trees along the valley. Days turned into months. One morning, when Aaron looked into the river again, he finally saw something. But it wasn't his past. It wasn't his future. It was his present, a life full of purpose, effort, and compassion. The river whispered to him, "Time doesn't reveal your destiny. Your actions do." Aaron realized that life doesn't change when you wait. Life changes when you move. He stopped asking what the future held and instead began shaping it every day. Years later, the valley prospered because of him, and people called him the man who moved with time. The moral of the story: don't wait for the perfect moment. Take action and make the moment perfect. Time doesn't decide your success, your choices do. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Long ago, in a small village, a farmer owned a loyal mongoose. This mongoose was gentle, caring, and always watched over the farmer's little baby. One day, the farmer and his wife had to leave for work in the fields. They trusted the mongoose to guard their child while they were away. Suddenly, a poisonous snake crept into the house, heading straight for the baby. The mongoose immediately fought the snake with all its strength. After a fierce battle, the mongoose killed the snake and saved the baby's life. When the farmer returned home, he saw the mongoose's mouth stained with blood. Thinking it had harmed the child, he angrily struck the mongoose without a second thought. But when he rushed inside, he saw his baby safe and the dead snake lying nearby. The farmer realized his mistake too late. The brave mongoose had given its life to protect the innocent child. Moral of the story: never make decisions in anger or without knowing the full truth. Loyalty and bravery often come from the most unexpected places. Trust is precious once broken. Regret remains forever. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a simple farmer. He owned a small piece of land, a pair of oxen, and a modest house. He worked hard every day and lived happily with his family. One day, a rich merchant from the city visited the village. Seeing the farmer working in the fields, the merchant said, "Why do you work so hard for so little? If you sold your land and moved to the city, you could earn more, buy luxuries, and live like me." The farmer smiled and asked, "And then what?" The merchant replied, "Then you could expand your business, buy more land, hire workers, and grow richer." The farmer asked again, "And then what?" The merchant said, "Then you could rest, spend time with your family, and live in peace." The farmer laughed gently and said, "But that's exactly what I'm already doing. I work, eat well, rest peacefully, and spend time with my family. Why should I run after more when I already have enough?" The merchant stood silent, realizing that the farmer's wisdom was greater than his wealth. Moral of the story: Contentment is the real wealth, not money. Happiness comes from appreciating what you already have. Chasing more doesn't always bring peace. Gratitude does. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, there lived a poor woodcutter who worked hard every day, chopping wood to earn just enough for his family. One day, while cutting a tree near the river, his axe slipped from his hands and fell into the deep water. The woodcutter sat sadly on the riverbank, thinking, "Without my axe, I cannot work. How will my family survive?" Hearing his sorrow, the river spirit appeared. She held a golden axe and asked, "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter looked at it but shook his head. "No, that is not mine." Next, the spirit brought out a silver axe and asked again, "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter replied honestly, "No, that is not mine either." Finally, the spirit lifted an old iron axe from the river and asked, "Is this your axe?" With relief, the woodcutter said, "Yes, that is mine. Thank you." The spirit smiled and said, "Because of your honesty, I will give you not only your axe, but also the golden and silver axes." The woodcutter returned home, grateful and rich not because of greed, but because of honesty and truthfulness. Moral of the story: honesty is the best policy. Truth may test you, but it always rewards you in the end. A pure heart brings blessings greater than wealth. The story reminds us that character is more valuable than gold. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a small village, there lived an old man who owned a beautiful horse. One day, the horse ran away. The villagers came and said, "Oh no, what bad luck!" The old man replied calmly, "Bad luck? Good luck? Who knows?" A week later, the horse returned, bringing with it a herd of wild horses. The villagers shouted, "Wow, what good luck!" The old man smiled. "Good luck? Bad luck? Who knows?" Later, the old man's son tried to tame one of the wild horses, but fell and broke his leg. The villagers cried, "Oh no, what bad luck!" Again, the old man said, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" Soon after, the king's army came to recruit all the young men for war. But because the old man's son had a broken leg, he was left behind. The villagers whispered, "Truly, that was good luck after all." The old man simply nodded. Life is full of ups and downs. We must wait to see the bigger picture. Moral of the story: don't judge situations too quickly. What looks like misfortune may hide a blessing. Stay calm, stay patient. Life's meaning unfolds with time. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a small village, a water bearer carried 2 pots to fetch water every day. One pot was perfect. The other had a crack, and by the time they reached home, it leaked half the water. The cracked pot felt ashamed and said, "I'm useless. I waste your effort every day." The water bearer smiled and replied, "Look at the path we walk. On your side, Flowers bloom. I planted seeds, and your cracks watered them. You bring beauty to the world every day. The pot realized that even its flaws had a purpose. Moral of the story: every weakness can be turned into strength. Don't compare. Your uniqueness creates value. Even imperfections can bring beauty and purpose to the world. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
In the heart of the jungle, a majestic lion rests peacefully under the shade of a sprawling tree. A tiny mouse scurries across the lion, disrupting his peaceful rest. Awakened by the disturbance, the lion rises with a start, roaring, "Who dares to disturb my sleep? I will eat you." The mouse pleads, "Please forgive me, O king of the jungle. I'm very small, but one day I may help you." In the heart of the jungle, a few days pass, and the mighty lion finds himself ensnared in a hunter's cruel net. He roars in frustration, his powerful voice echoing through the dense foliage, yet the net holds him fast. Hearing the familiar roar, the little mouse perks up, recognizing his friend's distress. Driven by loyalty, the little mouse rushes toward the sound, a tiny beacon of hope in the vast jungle. In the dense jungle, a mouse appears, spotting a lion ensnared in a hunter's net. Without a second thought,
A merchant had a horse and a donkey. One day, the donkey was overloaded with goods and asked the horse for help. The horse refused, saying, "It's not my problem." The donkey kept walking with the heavy load until he collapsed. The merchant then shifted all the goods onto the horse. Now the horse had to carry everything. Moral: if we don't help others in their time of need, one day we may face the same burden alone. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. A farmer once found an eagle's egg and placed it in a chicken's nest. The eaglet hatched and grew up with the chickens. It scratched the ground, clucked, and believed it was just a chicken. One day, it saw an eagle soaring high in the sky. It wished it could fly like that. The chickens laughed. "You're just one of us. Stay on the ground." Believing them, the eagle lived and died as a chicken, never knowing its true power. Moral of the story: don't let others define your limits. You were born to soar, not settle. Believe in your potential. Greatness lies within you. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. He was a doctor who left everything behind to fight for freedom. Meet Che Guevara, the man who became a symbol of revolution worldwide. Born in Argentina in 1928, Che saw poverty and injustice across South America during his motorcycle journey. That trip changed his life forever. In Mexico, he met Fidel Castro and joined the Cuban Revolution. Through courage, discipline, and belief in equality, he helped topple a dictatorship and reshape Cuba. After Cuba, Che fought to spread revolution in Africa and Bolivia. Captured in 1967, he was executed, but his image lives on as a symbol of resistance and idealism. Love him or criticize him, Che Guevara proved that one man's passion can ignite a movement. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
Rosario, 1995. A young Lionel Messi dances through the streets, the football an extension of his being. Bare feet blur as he weaves a path of magic through the narrow streets. Other kids watch, their eyes wide with awe at his effortless skill. He continues to move through the streets with incredible speed and precision, leaving his peers behind. The Messi family gathers in their cozy living room, bathed in the soft glow of the television. Young Lionel's eyes are glued to the screen, his youthful passion igniting with every play. The Messi family's shared excitement fills the air, each moment a testament to their bond. Grandmother's voice rings with prophecy. You will be a great player one day, Lionel. Lionel's dreams take flight as the echoes of his grandmother's words resonate in his heart. Lionel, a spirited 10-year-old, dominates the local football field with boundless energy. His small stature belies a commanding skill, turning the game into his personal stage. He dances around opponents, his every move a brushstroke on the canvas of the game. Goal after breathtaking goal leaves spectators in awe, a symphony of cheers echoing his triumphs. Whispers ripple through the sidelines as parents marvel at the exceptional talent unfolding. Lionel's talent shines brightly, a beacon of potential amidst the ordinary. Jorge and Celia sit anxiously, their faces reflecting deep concern. Sunlight streams into the doctor's office, illuminating the gravity of the moment. The doctor leans forward, his expression gentle yet serious. The doctor reveals the grim diagnosis. Lionel has a growth hormone deficiency. It's going to make things difficult for him if he wants to become a professional footballer. Jorge and Celia exchange a look of despair, their hopes for Lionel hanging in the balance. The doctor's words hang heavy in the air as he adds, the treatment is also quite expensive. In the Messi family home, a warm glow casts long shadows, revealing worried faces huddled together. Hushed voices fill the room, each word heavy with anxiety and the burden of an unspoken diagnosis. Unnoticed, Lionel stands hidden in the shadows, his small face mirroring the weight of their fears. The financial strain of the looming treatment hangs heavy, a silent specter haunting the family. Grandmother notices Lionel, her eyes softening with an ocean of love and unspoken reassurance. She pulls him close, whispering a promise of resilience. Don't give up, Lionel. Never give up. Under the vast sky of the football field, Lionel's figure is dwarfed by his peers as he plays. Lionel's movements are awkward, and he struggles to match the pace of the other players. A wave of discouragement washes over Lionel, but he fights it. Lionel closes his eyes, a silent mantra of strength echoing in his mind. His grandmother's encouraging words flood his memory, pushing him to keep going. Bathed in stained glass light, Lionel kneels in prayer, seeking divine guidance. Sunlight paints the church in vibrant hues as Lionel pours out his soul. Please, grant me the strength to face what's coming. Guide me on the right path. His grandmother's comforting hand rests on his arm, a silent promise of unwavering support. Her voice, a gentle reassurance in the sacred space. Have faith, Lionel. He hears you. He always does. And remember, she adds, her voice filled with unconditional love, I am here for you, always. Lionel relentlessly practices on the gritty Rosario streets, the ball a blur beneath his determined feet. Sweat beads on his brow as he weaves through the urban landscape, his focus unwavering. Each kick echoes his burning desire to defy limitations, to transform his dream into reality. He envisions himself on the grand stage, a professional footballer, his every move precise and powerful. The dream fuels his relentless training, pushing him beyond the ordinary, closer to his extraordinary goal. In the heart of Rosario, Lionel's spirit soars, unyielding and unbreakable, a testament to the power of unwavering belief. Inside the FC Barcelona scouting office, anticipation hangs heavy as scouts fix their eyes on the screen. On the screen, Lionel dances with the ball, his skill undeniable. Despite his small stature, Lionel's genius shines, leaving the scouts in awe. The scouts exchange impressed glances, recognizing the raw talent before them. They decide to invite him for a trial. The decision is made. Lionel will have his chance to prove himself on the hallowed grounds of Barcelona. Under the bright Barcelona sun, Lionel and his father arrive, their faces a mixture of apprehension and hope. Lionel clutches his football tightly, a tangible symbol of his dreams and aspirations. The vast expanse of the airport stretches before them, a gateway to an uncertain future. Their eyes scan the surroundings, searching for a sign, a guide, or a familiar face. A shared glance passes between father and son, a silent exchange of encouragement and determination. With newfound resolve, they step forward, ready to embrace the challenges and opportunities that await. Lionel, a young talent, moves with the ball, agile and determined. He pushes himself beyond his limits, driven by an inner fire. His face reflects a mix of longing and resolve. His focus remains unwavering. He practices with fierce determination. His dream fuels every move. Bathed in the stark light of the doctor's office, Lionel braces himself as the doctor prepares the injection. The needle pierces his skin. Lionel's resolve hardens, a determined smile gracing his lips. In his mind's eye, Lionel sees FC Barcelona, the promise of greatness fueling his spirit. The injection concludes. Lionel flexes his arm, feeling a surge of strength coursing through him. Confidence blooms within him, a testament to the opportunity that awaits. Lionel's gaze sharpens with unwavering resolve, ready to seize his destiny. At La Masia, Lionel weaves through the training grounds, a small figure amidst towering players. His skill flashes with every move, a beacon of talent shining brighter than his sweat. Determination fuels his every action, transforming him into a tiny titan among giants. He rises to become one of the Academy's best, a testament to his extraordinary talent and relentless spirit. Amidst the vibrant chaos of the FC Barcelona locker room, a young Lionel stands, his palpable nervousness betraying the immense excitement bubbling within. Seasoned players move around Lionel, their confidence a stark contrast to his youthful unease. A beacon of warmth cuts through the tension as Ronaldinho approaches, his smile radiant and welcoming. Ronaldinho extends a hand to Lionel, greeting him with the words, "Welcome to the team, Lionel. It's great to have you here." At Camp Nou, Lionel steps onto the pitch, ready to ignite the stadium with his debut for FC Barcelona. He weaves through defenders, a whirlwind of motion and skill, leaving opponents bewildered in his wake. With a flick of his left foot, he sends the ball soaring, a perfect arc towards the top corner of the net. The ball curls into the net, an unstoppable strike that marks the beginning of a legend. The crowd erupts, a sea of faces awash with awe and admiration for the young prodigy. Lionel bursts onto the scene, a whirlwind of talent, shattering records with each breathtaking goal. He hoists the gleaming Ballon d'Or, a testament to his unrivaled skill and dedication. Confetti rains down like golden snow as Lionel raises the Champions League trophy, the crowd's roar reaching fever pitch. Amidst the glory, his grandmother's eyes sparkle with pride, a constant reminder of his humble beginnings. Her unwavering support fuels his extraordinary journey, a beacon of inspiration guiding his every step. The Argentina national team locker room buzzes with anticipation, a kaleidoscope of jerseys and scattered gear. Lionel stands as the team's unwavering heart, burdened by the ghost of tournaments past. Each line on his face tells a tale of shattered dreams and the crushing weight of a nation's hopes. The air crackles with nervous energy as Lionel embodies the hopes of a nation. Lionel unleashes a powerful kick, sending the football soaring through the air. The ball sails into the goal, igniting a thunderous cheer from the ecstatic crowd. Amidst the roaring applause, Lionel's gaze lifts towards the heavens, his lips curving into a gentle smile. Bathed in the sun's radiant glow, he silently dedicates this triumph to his grandmother, remembering her unwavering support. The Argentina national team locker room suffocates with the heavy air of defeat, jerseys scattered like fallen flags on a battlefield. Lionel stands amidst the desolation, a solitary figure of defiance against the crushing weight of loss. His voice cuts through the silence, a beacon of hope. "I know it hurts. It hurts like hell. Another final, another loss. But we can't give up. We can't let this define us. Lionel's voice rises with conviction, his words igniting a spark of belief. We have the talent. We have the heart. We just need to believe. Believe in ourselves. Believe in each other. We can win the World Cup. I know we can. The 2022 FIFA World Cup final ignites with electrifying anticipation as Argentina and France prepare to clash on the grand stage. Lionel steps onto the field, his face a study in fierce resolve, ready to lead his team into battle. The air crackles with tension as both teams line up, poised for the monumental contest about to unfold. The stadium erupts in a symphony of cheers as the whistle blows, signaling the start of the epic final. Lionel surveys the field, a glint of steely determination in his eyes, prepared to seize victory for Argentina. The stadium vibrates with a frenzied energy as the climactic match unfolds. Lionel, with blinding speed and unmatched precision, kicks the ball. The crowd explodes in a deafening roar as the scoreboard flashes. The championship teeters on a knife's edge, fate hanging precariously on a penalty shootout. In the heart of Qatar Stadium, Lionel watches with bated breath as the penalty shootout unfolds. The weight of the nation rests on each kick, every moment stretching into an eternity. Tension fills the air as Lionel's teammates step up to face their destiny. The crowd erupts in a deafening roar, a tidal wave of sound. Argentina triumphs in the penalty shootout, securing victory. Lionel is overcome with emotion as Argentina claims the trophy. The stadium erupts as Lionel, etched with emotion, prepares to hoist the trophy. Confetti showers down as Lionel triumphantly raises the FIFA World Cup trophy. Tears of exhaustion, relief, and joy stream down Lionel's face. Lionel clutches the trophy tightly, his ultimate dream realized. Bathed in glory, Lionel stands as a symbol of triumph and perseverance. Amidst the roaring stadium, Lionel stands, radiating pure joy. He's instantly swallowed by a jubilant surge of teammates, their cheers blending with the crowd's. The stadium echoes with a symphony of cheers and thunderous applause, all chanting his name. Lionel becomes a beacon of triumph, bathed in the adoration of countless fans. His presence is a testament to the power of unwavering determination. Lionel stands tall, a symbol of relentless hard work and unwavering spirit. Lionel returns to Rosario, greeted by a jubilant crowd, the air thick with adoration and excitement. The streets echo with cheers, a hero's welcome igniting a nostalgic warmth within Lionel. In a moment of reflection amidst the celebration, Lionel remembers his humble beginnings and his grandmother's unwavering faith. Lionel shares his wisdom. You have to fight to reach your dream. You have to sacrifice and work hard for it.
In a quiet coastal village lived an old fisherman named Santiago. For 84 days, he had gone out to sea and returned with nothing. The villagers whispered that his luck had run out, and even the young boy who once helped him was forbidden by his parents to go with him anymore. But Santiago did not give up. On the 85th day, he set sail alone, determined to change his fate. Far out in the deep blue sea, he hooked a massive marlin, a fish larger and stronger than any he had ever seen. For 3 days and 3 nights, the old man battled the marlin. The rope tore into his hands, the sun burned his skin, and the salt stung his wounds. Yet he held on, speaking soft. Doctors said she would never walk. The world said she would never rise. But she decided she would write her own future. There once was a little girl named Aisha, born in a quiet village surrounded by mountains. But unlike other children, Aisha couldn't walk. Her legs were weak, and every step she tried ended with a fall. Doctors said she will never walk. Relatives whispered, "Poor girl, her life is finished." Even her schoolmates avoided her, believing she was too fragile to do anything. But Aisha had something nobody saw: a fire inside her. Every evening, she crawled to the village hill, watching children run and play. Tears came, but so did determination. One night, she told her mother, "If I can't walk today, I will walk tomorrow. If not tomorrow, one day I will." Her mother believed in her more than anyone. She held her hands tightly and said, "Then let's begin." And so began the battle of a lifetime. The thrilling journey. Aisha started with tiny movements. First, she learned to stand for 3 seconds, then 10 seconds, then 30 seconds, sweating, shaking, and falling again and again. For months, she pushed herself. Her legs trembled every time. Her muscles burned. She cried secretly, but she never stopped. Then came the day she tried to take her first step. The village gathered, watching curiously, some laughing quietly. Aisha stood. Her mother held her breath. Aisha lifted her foot. She took one step, then another, and then she walked. The crowd gasped. Some cried, others cheered. Aisha didn't hear any of them. She was too busy running toward her future. From that day, she didn't stop. She trained until she could run faster than the boys who once mocked her. Years later, Aisha became a national level athlete, inspiring millions. When asked how she did it, she smiled and said, "My legs were weak, but my will was stronger than any weakness." The moral of the story: your limitations are not your destiny. If your will is strong enough, even the impossible becomes possible. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Long ago, in a small village, 2 women came to a court, both claiming to be the mother of the same child. The villagers were divided. No one knew who was telling the truth. The case was brought before a wise judge, known for his fairness and intelligence. The women argued fiercely, each insisting, "This child is mine!" The judge thought for a moment. Then he said, "Since both of you claim to be the mother, we will cut the child into 2 halves, and each of you will get a part." The entire court gasped. One woman nodded coldly, saying, "If I can't have him, then she shouldn't either." But the other woman cried out in horror, "No, my lord, do not harm the child. Let her take him. I would rather lose him than see him hurt." The judge smiled. He raised his hand and declared, "This woman is the true mother." A real mother's love is selfless, willing to sacrifice her happiness for her child's safety. The crowd bowed to the judge's wisdom, and the true mother embraced her child with tears of joy. Moral of the story: wisdom sees beyond words, it reveals the truth. Fairness comes from understanding the heart, not just the argument. True love is selfless, and truth always shines through. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. What if the strongest person in the world didn't even know they were strong? Let's watch. The Hidden Strength. Motivational story. In a small mountain village lived a boy named Arav, known to everyone as the quiet one. He wasn't the fastest runner, he wasn't the loudest speaker, he wasn't the bravest fighter, but he had something nobody else noticed. A heart that never gave up. Every day on his way to school, Arav climbed a steep hill. Halfway up the hill stood an old man, Master Viraj. He watched Arav silently, observing. One day, the old master stopped him. "Carry this stone to the top," he said, handing Arav a heavy rock. Arav struggled. He stumbled. He nearly fell, but he didn't quit. Every day, the master gave him a slightly heavier stone. And every day, Arav reached the top, sweating, crying, but finishing. Months passed. Arav didn't realize it, but he was becoming stronger, day by day, stone by stone. The day everything changed. One night, a massive storm struck the village. Lightning split the sky. Trees crashed down. And a huge boulder rolled down toward a group of children on the road. Everyone screamed. Everyone ran. Except Arav. Without thinking, he sprinted toward the giant boulder. He pushed with all his strength. He felt his muscles shake. His hands burned. But he didn't stop. And to everyone's shock, Arav stopped the boulder. He didn't know how he did it, but someone else did. Master Viraj stood behind him and smiled. "Your strength was always there," he said. "I only taught you to see it." Arav looked at his hands, trembling, but powerful. He realized the truth. Strength doesn't appear suddenly. It builds quietly inside those who refuse to quit. Moral of the story: your strength is already inside you. You just have to build it one small step at a time. Consistency turns ordinary people into legends. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Once upon a time, in a small village, two pots were placed side by side near a river, one made of iron, the other of clay. One day, a flood came. The waters swept both pots away into the river. The strong iron pot laughed and said to the clay pot, "Stay close to me, and you will be safe." "I am strong, and nothing can break me," the clay pot replied softly. "Thank you, but I will keep my distance. If I stay too close, I might crash against you and shatter." As the current grew stronger, the heavy iron pot struck against rocks and broke into pieces, while the humble clay pot floated gently, carried safely by the waters. Moral of the story: pride and strength can lead to downfall. Humility and wisdom ensure survival. It's not always the strongest who win, it's those who adapt. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Two climbers, Rahul and Noah, stood at the base of the world's most unforgiving mountain. Snowstorms swallowed sound, and the wind tested courage. They weren't just climbing for glory. They were climbing to prove something to the world and to themselves. Before the ascent, they made a pact. No matter what happens, we reach the top together, or we come back together. Days passed. Oxygen thinned. Muscles burned. Doubt whispered. Near the summit, disaster struck. A sudden avalanche cracked the ice beneath them. Noah slipped, his body hanging over a deadly drop, supported only by a single rope tied to Rahul. If Rahul cut the rope, he could reach the summit alone and be remembered forever. If he held on, both might die. The storm screamed. Time froze. Rahul remembered the pact. He planted his axe deeper into the ice. His arms tore. His vision blurred. He chose honor over glory. Hours later, rescue teams found both climbers alive, half frozen, broken but breathing. They never reached the summit that day. But when the world heard their story, something extraordinary happened. They became symbols not of victory, but of loyalty, grit, and human strength beyond success. Years later, asked if he regretted not reaching the top, Rahul smiled and said, "The summit is a place. Character is a height few ever reach." A moral of the story: true success is not how high you climb alone, but what values you refuse to abandon on the way up. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel, for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
In a small village surrounded by mountains, there lived a young man named Smith, known not for strength or wealth, but for failure. Every dream he chased collapsed. Every attempt ended in ridicule. People whispered, "He's not meant for greatness." Once a year, the village held an ancient ritual, the Walk of Fire. Barefoot villagers crossed burning embers to prove courage and belief. Only the strongest had ever succeeded. Smith watched from the shadows every year, until one night, his mentor said, "Fire does not test the feet, it tests the mind." That night, Smith made a decision, not to impress others, but to finally believe in himself. The fire pit blazed. The crowd laughed as Smith stepped forward. "Turn back!" they shouted. "Only pain waits ahead." Smith looked at the flames and whispered, "I've already walked through worse fires. Fear, rejection, doubt." With trembling feet, he stepped onto the embers. Pain surged, but something stronger rose inside him. Each step wasn't about surviving fire. It was about walking away from the past. When Smith reached the other side, fell. He wasn't burned, he wasn't broken, he was reborn. From that day on, Smith was no longer known as a failure, but as the Firewalker, the man who proved that belief burns brighter than fear. Moral of the story: life's fire does not destroy those who believe in themselves. Fear burns only when you stand still. Walk through it, and it loses its power. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Daniel was tired of motivational speeches. Toxic positivity, he called them. His life wasn't collapsing, it was quietly stuck. Same alarm, same excuses, same dreams postponed to tomorrow. One night, while cleaning his old desk, Daniel found a handwritten note from years ago. "Just be better than yesterday. Not richer, not famous, just better." So he made a rule. Every day, improve only 1%. Day 1, he woke up 10 minutes earlier. Day 7, he stopped skipping workouts. Day 30, he read instead of scrolling. No miracle, no applause. But something changed. Months passed. The habits compounded. Confidence replaced doubt. Momentum replaced excuses. 1 year later, people said, "You're lucky." Daniel smiled because no one saw the power of tiny changes done daily. The 1% didn't transform his day. It transformed his life. Moral of the story: small changes, repeated daily, create massive results. You don't need motivation, you need consistency. Success is built quietly, then noticed loudly. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel, for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
In a war-torn village, a legendary archer stood on the final watchtower. For years, he had protected his people with unmatched skill. His name was feared by enemies and respected by allies. But tonight was different. The village was surrounded. Flames danced in the distance. The sound of marching feet shook the ground. The archer reached behind his shoulder and froze. Only one arrow remained. Fear whispered. "It's over," doubt screamed. "One arrow isn't enough." He remembered his master's words. "When you have only one arrow, don't aim for the enemy. Aim for the moment." The archer closed his eyes. He ignored the noise. He silenced the fear. Instead of shooting blindly, he waited. Waited until the enemy leader stepped forward, confident, unguarded. The archer took a deep breath. Not with anger, not with panic, but with purpose. He released the arrow. The arrow flew straight, cutting through fear, doubt, and destiny itself. The enemy leader fell. The army panicked. The village was saved. Later, when the people celebrated, the archer quietly left his bow behind because he had learned something powerful. It was about believing in the last one. The moral of the story: you don't need unlimited chances to win. Sometimes your last chance used with courage and focus changes everything. When all seems lost, the leaf becomes your greatest weapon. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Every night, before the city slept, Zainu heard it. A soft voice in his mind. "You're not ready." What if you fail? Stay where it's safe. It never shouted. It never forced. It only whispered. And Zainu listened. He avoided risks. He rejected opportunities. He watched others move forward while he stayed still. Trapped by a fear no one else could see. One evening, after losing yet another chance, Zainu met an old watchmaker. Noticing his restless eyes, the man said, "Fear survives only in silence." That night, Zainu decided to confront the whisper. The next morning, fear returned. "Turn back." But this time, Zainu replied, "I hear you, but I won't obey." His hands trembled, his heart raced, but his feet moved. Each step weakened the whisper. Each action made his voice louder than fear's. Days turned into weeks. Fear still spoke, but softly. Eventually, it lost its power. Zainu didn't become fearless. He became braver than his fear. And that changed everything. And moral of the story, fear grows when ignored, but shrinks when faced. Courage is not silence of fear, but action despite it. Your life changes the moment your voice becomes louder than fear. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a cold industrial town where failure was inherited like a surname, lived a young man named Rayan. His hands were scarred, his pockets empty, and his dreams mocked daily. People said, some lives are meant to struggle. But Rayan believed something different. Strength is built, not given. Every morning before sunrise, while the town slept, Rayan trained. Not in a gym, not with coaches, but against pain, hunger, and doubt. When he failed, the world laughed. When he fell, no one helped. Yet each fall hardened him like iron in fire. The turning point came when Rayan was offered one last chance, a trial so brutal, most men quit halfway. His muscles screamed. Blood mixed with sweat. His mind begged him to stop. Then he remembered every insult, every closed door, every night he almost quit. And a voice inside whispered, pain ends, will does not. Rayan finished what others abandoned. He didn't win applause, he earned respect. Years later, people asked how he succeeded. Rayan replied, when everything was taken from me, I had one thing left, my will. I made it unbreakable. The moral of the story, a strong body may fail, a strong will never does. Pain strengthens those who refuse to quit. Greatness belongs to the mentally unbreakable. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. A fisherman was caught in a furious storm. Everyone thought his boat would sink, but he refused to give up. He tied himself, repaired the sails, and kept rowing. By dawn, he reached the shore alive. Moral: in life's storms, determination is the strongest anchor. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. What if the strongest person in the world didn't even know they were strong? Let's watch The Hidden Strength motivational story. In a small mountain village lived a boy named Arav, known to everyone as the Quiet One. He wasn't the fastest runner, he wasn't the loudest speaker, he wasn't the bravest fighter, but he had something nobody else noticed, a heart that never gave up. Every day on his way to school, Arav climbed a steep hill. And this story continues to watch. Just click full video link below and subscribe and like to this channel at Horror Planets and share. One day, dark clouds gathered and a mighty storm began to brew. All the birds in the forest were frightened. They searched for shelter, hiding under branches and rocks. But the eagle did something different. Instead of avoiding the storm, it spread its massive wings and soared directly into the powerful winds. The storm that terrified other birds became the very force that lifted the eagle higher and higher above the clouds. While others trembled below, the eagle glided fearlessly in the clear skies above the storm. Moral of the story: don't fear challenges. Use them to rise higher. Problems can be opportunities in disguise. True leaders and strong minds don't run from storms. They face them and grow stronger. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a quiet village, a young boy often visited an old potter's workshop. The potter spent hours shaping lumps of clay on his wheel, pressing, molding, and reshaping with patience. One day, the boy asked, "Why do you press the clay so hard? Won't it break?" The potter smiled and replied, "The pressure gives it strength. Without it, the pot would collapse when the fire comes." Days passed, and the boy watched how the potter placed the clay pots in a blazing kiln. The fire was fierce, yet when they emerged, the pots were strong, shining, and unbreakable. The boy finally understood it wasn't the softness of the clay that made it beautiful, but the pressure and the fire that gave it purpose. One morning, an old man was walking along the beach after a storm. He saw thousands of starfish washed up on the sand, dying in the heat of the Sunday. Far ahead, he noticed a young boy. The boy kept picking up starfish one by one and throwing them back into the ocean. The old man asked, "Son, there are thousands of starfish here. Do you really think you can save them all?" "What difference can you make?" The boy picked up another starfish, gently placed it into the waves, and smiled. "I made a difference to that one." A moral of the story: even small actions can have a big impact. You don't have to change the whole world. You just need to change someone's world. True motivation comes from taking action, not waiting for perfection. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. At the edge of an ancient city lived a monk named Ananda. He followed a simple routine meditation at dawn, service by noon, silence at dusk. No one knew much about him, except one strange thing. Every morning, he ran. Not to escape, not to compete, just ran barefoot along dusty roads while athletes with expensive shoes gasped for breath. One year, a global marathon passed through the city. Runners arrived with coaches, sponsors, and cameras. Someone joked, "Let the monk run. At least we'll finish before him." Ananda quietly registered. Race day arrived. The gun fired. Thousands sprinted ahead. The monk stayed slow, calm, smiling. At 10 kilometers, runners dropped. At 20, legs cramped. At 35, even champions collapsed. Yet Ananda kept the same pace. No music, no cheering, just breath and focus. With 1 kilometer left, the crowd fell silent. The monk crossed the finish line first. No celebration, no raised hands. When reporters asked, "How did you beat runners half your age?" Ananda replied, I was not racing them. I was running away from my ego. That day, athletes learned a truth schools never teach. The strongest mind outlasts the strongest body. Moral of the story: discipline, inner peace, and consistency will always outrun talent fueled by ego. When the mind is calm, the body becomes unstoppable. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a small village surrounded by a massive mountain lived a man named Wei. The mountain blocked sunlight from reaching his farm. Crops failed. Winters were cruel. Every year, elders said the same thing. The mountain decides our fate. But Wei refused to accept that. One morning, while others slept, Wei picked up a small hammer and chisel and struck the mountain. Clink! Just one stone fell. The villagers laughed. Are you insane? This mountain has stood here for thousands of years. Wei simply replied, Then I will start today. Every day, rain or heat, Wei removed stones. Not hundreds, not dozens, just one piece at a time. Years passed. People mocked him. Friends left. Time tested him. But Wei never stopped. One day, an old child who had grown watching Wei asked, You know you'll never finish in your lifetime. Why continue? Wei smiled. Even if I fall, my children will continue, and one day the mountain will fall. Generations later, the impossible happened. The mountain was gone. Sunlight reached the valley. Fields bloomed. Life changed. History remembered Wei not as the strongest man, but as the one who proved small actions, done daily, defeat impossibility. Moral of the story: consistency turns the impossible into the inevitable. You don't move mountains by force, you move them by never stopping. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. In a storm-beaten town where hope faded faster than the sun, lived a man named Karan. Life tested him. Relentlessly failures, loss, rejection, one after another. Each setback felt final, each fall deeper than the last. People whispered, Enough! Give up! But inside, Karan lived something that refused to die. When he lost everything, job, respect, direction, he stood alone at night, staring at the sky, asking, Why me? Silence answered. So he answered himself, If I'm still breathing, I'm still standing. With no support and no applause, Karan started again. Each day he rebuilt what life destroyed. Discipline, belief, courage. The pain didn't disappear, but neither did he. Years later, when success finally arrived, people asked how he survived what should have ended him. Karen smiled and said, I didn't win because life got easier. I won because my spirit stayed unbroken. Moral of the story: circumstances can shatter comfort, but never the human spirit. Resilience is born in silence and struggle. As long as your spirit stands, you are never defeated. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel, for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
High in the mountains, an old eagle crashes into a cliff, its wings weak, its beak shattered. Everyone thinks it's the end, but the eagle breaks its own beak, tears away old feathers, and rebuilds itself in brutal pain. And then it rises again, stronger than ever. Sometimes you must break to be reborn. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
Watch now, Horror Planets channel, for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
A lone warrior was known across kingdoms for his victories. He never lost a battle, never turned his back on danger. Yet every night, as the sun fell behind the mountains, fear returned. No matter where he went, through burning deserts, across frozen valleys, into silent forests, a shadow followed him. It wasn't cast by the sun. It moved when he stopped. It waited when he slept. One night, exhausted from running, the warrior turned around and shouted, "Who are you?" The shadow answered not with words, but with memories. Moments of fear, battles avoided, dreams abandoned, times he chose safety over greatness. Then, the truth struck him like a blade. The shadow wasn't chasing him. It was made of everything he refused to face. From that day on, the warrior stopped running. He trained harder, faced his fears, walked toward what scared him. With every step of courage, the shadow grew smaller until one morning, it disappeared. The warrior didn't become stronger because he won more battles. He became stronger because he won the one inside. Moral of the story: your greatest enemy isn't outside you. It's the fear you keep avoiding. Face it, and it loses its power. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Walt Disney walked into a newspaper office excited, hoping for a job. But the editor looked at him and said, "You're not creative enough." He was fired, rejected, broke. Most people would quit, but not Disney. Instead, he picked up his pencil, sketched new worlds, created new characters, and built stories no one believed in until the whole world did. From rejection to magic, from one no to a billion smiles, he created a universe where dreams live forever. A moral of the story: if Walt Disney can turn rejection into a kingdom, imagine what you can build from your setbacks. Thanks for watching. From a bus conductor earning $750 to a global superstar worshipped like a god. This is the unbelievable rise of Rajinikanth, the man who never asked for the spotlight, but earned the universe. Before the name Rajinikanth echoed across India, before fans built temples in his honor, before he became Thalavar, he was Shivaji Rao, a simple man with tired eyes and an empty pocket. He woke up at 4 a.m., drove buses through noisy Bangalore roads, took insults from passengers, delivered every shift with quiet dignity. And yet, somewhere deep inside, he carried a fire. A fire nobody saw. Not even he did. The moment everything changed. One day, during a break at the bus depot, he performed a small drama act. A random passerby stopped, stunned. The man said, "You are not meant for this uniform. You are meant for the world." That man was director K. Balachander, one of India's greatest filmmakers. And he had discovered a gem hiding inside a bus conductor. But Rajinikanth wasn't confident. He said, "Sir, I don't look like a hero." Balachander smiled. "Heroes are not born by looks. They are born by fire. The journey of pain, rejection, and rise." Rajinikanth faced rejection after rejection. People laughed at his style. Critics said he would never survive. Producers refused to cast him. But every night, Rajini practiced in front of a broken mirror. His walk, his punch timing, his cigarette flip, his dialogue delivery, he wasn't building a career. He was building a legend. The breakthrough. Then came the movie, Apurva Ragangal. Small role. Barely a few minutes on screen. But when Rajinikanth walked in, the screen didn't just light up, it vibrated. People finally saw what the world had almost missed. A man who didn't act like another hero. A man who acted like himself. Soon, Rajinikanth wasn't just famous. He became unstoppable. The rise to global icon. From Muthu becoming a hit in Japan, to Shivaji breaking records, to Robot shocking the world with his style, Rajini proved one truth. A bus conductor can rise so high that the sky begins to look small. A moral of the story, your starting point never decides your finishing line. Your attitude does. Your consistency does. Your fire does. If Rajinikanth could rise from nothing, so can you. So can anyone. Even you watching this. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. From a bus conductor earning $750 to a global superstar worshipped like a god. This is the unbelievable rise of Rajinikanth, the man who never asked for the spotlight, but earned the universe. Before the name Rajinikanth echoed across India, before fans built temples in his honor, before he became Thalavar, he was Shivaji Rao, a simple man with tired eyes and an empty pocket. And this story continues to watch. Just click full video link below and subscribe and like to this channel at Horror Planets and share. It was late at night. The street was quiet, dimly lit, and almost empty. A man lay unconscious on the roadside, beaten, bleeding, and helpless. Cars passed. People looked and walked away. Some were late, some were scared, some didn't want trouble. Minutes felt like hours. Then, a stranger approached. His clothes were dusty, his bag worn out. He wasn't rich, he wasn't powerful, but he had something rare compassion. He knelt beside the injured man, checked his pulse, and gently lifted him. With great effort, he carried him to a nearby hospital. The hospital staff hesitated. No ID, no money, The stranger reached into his pocket and placed his last savings on the counter. "I'll pay," he said. "Please, save him." Before leaving, he told the nurse, "If it's not enough, I'll come back tomorrow." Days later, the injured man regained consciousness. He learned what had happened and asked, "Who saved me?" The nurse replied, "A man who didn't even know your name." Years passed. One day, a successful businessman stood on a stage, sharing his story. He ended with tears in his eyes. "I am alive today because one stranger chose kindness over convenience." The moral of the story: true humanity is shown when we help others without expecting anything in return. Be the reason someone believes in goodness again. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.
At the foot of the colossal cliff, Arjun stands resolute, bracing against the fierce mountain winds. His focused gaze pierces the sky, fixed on the elusive summit high above. A deep breath fills Arjun's lungs, his face a canvas of determination painted with shades of excitement and trepidation. With unwavering resolve, Arjun begins his ascent, a solitary figure challenging the unyielding stone. Arjun ascends the treacherous mountain cliff, each step a battle against the elements. The wind howls like a banshee, testing his resolve, as memories of past failures flash before his eyes. Images of crushing self-doubt assault him, each a blow in the internal war he wages against himself. He pauses, chest heaving, exhaustion etched on his face, fear a palpable presence. A voice whispers, taunting him, "Let go. You can't make it." Arjun trembles, the mountain's challenge mirroring the battles within. High on the mountain cliff, Arjun's rope fails, leaving me suspended in the vast emptiness. Thousands of feet above the unforgiving ground, my heart races as my grip weakens. Panic threatens to consume me, but a powerful voice echoes from within. "You didn't come this far to stop now." The words ignite a newfound resolve, pushing back the fear as I fight to hold on. Against the canvas of dawn, Arjun stands solitary, his face etched with the raw emotion of hard-won battles. Bathed in the sun's nascent glow, he finds himself reborn, the golden light painting over his weary face. "The real battle was within, and I have won," he proclaims, his voice resonating with newfound liberation. The sun ascends, casting a radiant glow upon Arjun, symbolizing the profound inner transformation he has undergone. He gazes into the horizon, a silhouette of triumph against the dawning sky, the culmination of his arduous journey.
Every evening, near a busy roadside, a little girl sat quietly beside a small flower stall. Her dress was old, her shoes torn, but her eyes sparkled with innocence and hope. One day, she noticed a man sitting on a bench nearby. His shoulders were heavy, his eyes empty. He stared at the ground as if life had defeated him. The little girl picked up the most beautiful red rose from the stall. It was the most expensive one, almost her entire day's earnings. She walked toward the man and gently said, "Uncle, this rose is for you." The man looked confused. "Why would you give this to me?" he asked. She smiled and replied, "Because you look like someone who forgot how beautiful life is." Tears welled up in the man's eyes. That morning, he had planned to end his life. Failures, debts, and loneliness had crushed his spirit. But that single rose, that small act of kindness, stopped him. He took the rose home and placed it beside his bed. For the first time in years, he slept peacefully. The next day, the man returned not to the bench, but to the flower stall. He paid for every rose and told the little girl, "You didn't just give me a flower, you gave me my life back." The little girl smiled again, unaware that her kindness had saved a soul. Sometimes it's not money, not power, not words. Sometimes all it takes is one rose. Moral of the story: a small act of kindness can become someone's reason to live. Never underestimate the power of a good heart. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. One day, a flock of doves flew down to eat grain scattered on the ground. But suddenly, a hunter threw a net and trapped them all. The doves panicked. Each tried to escape alone, but the net was too strong. Then their leader said, "If we all flap our wings together, we can rise as one and escape." The doves listened, united their strength, and lifted the net into the sky. They flew together to safety, proving that unity is freedom and power. Moral of the story: unity can overcome any trap in life. Together, even the weak can defeat the strong. Cooperation brings freedom, strength, and success. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. Sunset. An old man plants a tiny sapling. A young passerby laughs. "Young man, you'll never sit under its shade." Close-up of the old man's smile as his wrinkled hand presses the soil. Old man softly, "But someone else will." Years later, children play under a giant tree, their laughter echoing. Message: true greatness is planting seeds for a future you may never see.
Bathed in sunlight, the forest clearing buzzes with excitement as animals gather. The rabbit's arrogance fills the air as he flaunts his speed. In stark contrast, the tortoise quietly prepares, a picture of unwavering resolve. Perched high above, the old owl observes with knowing eyes. The squirrel fidgets nervously, his tail twitching with anticipation. "I'll beat you before you even cross the starting line." the rabbit boasts. The race explodes into action, the rabbit a mere blur as he surges ahead. The tortoise begins his determined trek, a stark contrast to the rabbit's explosive start. Seeing his overwhelming lead, the rabbit smugly eyes a shady tree, plotting a moment of repose. Under the cool shade, the rabbit reclines, confident in his insurmountable lead. Plenty of time to rest. That tortoise won't catch up. Unnoticed, the tortoise continues his unwavering progress, each step a testament to perseverance. Time marches relentlessly forward on the race course. The tortoise continues his unwavering pace, each step a testament to his resolve. Lost in dreams of victory, the rabbit slumbers peacefully, oblivious to the passage of time. The squirrel watches with widening eyes as the tortoise steadily approaches. The old owl hoots softly, acknowledging the tortoise's unwavering determination. The tortoise persists, step by step, while the rabbit remains deep in slumber. The tortoise shuffles across the finish line, a symbol of unyielding resolve. A wave of disbelief washes over the gathered animals as the impossible unfolds. The rabbit jolts awake, his arrogance shattered by the eruption of cheers. Slow and steady wins the race. The words of Old Owl echo as the tortoise stands tall, radiating exhaustion and triumph. Shame crashes over the rabbit as the weight of his folly becomes unbearable.
Watch now, Horror Planet's channel, for more videos in many audio languages, and subscribe, like, and share.
In the heart of the savannah lived a lion known as the King of Courage. But one stormy night, he encountered something he had never faced his own fear. Lightning struck, the ground shook, and for the first time, the mighty lion stepped back. The animals whispered, "Even the king is scared." Ashamed, the lion hid himself until he saw a tiny wounded cub struggling in the storm. In that moment, courage returned not for himself, but to protect someone who needed him. He roared louder than the storm, carried the cub to safety, and realized a powerful truth. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing to move forward because someone believes in you. The next morning, the savannah bowed not to a fearless lion, but to a lion who faced fear and still stood tall. Moral of the story: courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing to move forward because someone believes in you. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share. On a rainy evening, a tiny puppy sat shivering on the roadside, soaked and scared. Cars passed. People rushed home. No one stopped. The puppy cried softly, hoping someone would hear. A young boy noticed it. He had no umbrella, no money, only a kind heart. He took off his jacket and wrapped it around the puppy. The puppy stopped crying. The boy carried the puppy door to door, asking, "Is this yours?" Most people said no. Some shut their doors. Just when the boy was about to give up, a woman ran toward him crying, "That's my puppy!" she shouted. She had been searching for hours. Tears rolled down her face as she hugged the puppy. Then, the boy. Weeks later, the same woman visited the boy's home. She offered help for his education because kindness deserves kindness. Moral of the story: when you help someone helpless, life finds a way to help you back. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. For more videos, subscribe to this channel at Horror Planets and share.